So recently, some really talented ROM hackers came together to give us an English translation for a niche Nintendo 64 game that was all but forgotten. Just kidding, this is a game made in Unity in 2025.
Humble Mud.
I've been following SuitnTie now for a little while. They are a really talented low-poly 3D artist and designer who posts really cool stuff. I mean, just look at all of this. It's so sick. And when I saw that they were coming out with a game, I wishlisted it immediately because with an art style like this, I thought this might be the cozy game for me this year. And I'll go ahead and tell you right off the bat that Merchant 64 is not the best game that I've ever played. It's gotten a fair share of mixed reviews, and I can kind of understand that because I think a lot of people were expecting something a little more from this game, like maybe there's some hidden story underneath the surface in this game. But to be fair, in all the promotional material that SuitnTie shared, they never acted as if there was anything more than the merchant gameplay that I'm about to talk about. But I wanted to put this all out there front and center before I start making my jokes and saying all of these things, because I am planning on giving away a copy of this game for free to one of you. And before I reveal how you can enter to win, I want to make sure that the person that I'm purchasing this game for with my own money is someone who is going to enjoy this game, who has realistic expectations. I really love SuitnTie's artwork. I enjoyed my time playing this game, and so I want to support it. And considering that they gave this game to me for free, a game that I was going to pay for myself, I figured I would pay it forward and buy it for one of you guys. That way I can achieve all the goals that I had set out for this game. With all of that out of the way, let's get to my stupid jokes. Much like Animal Crossing, Merchant 64 exposes you to the everyday trials and tribulations that the common man faces under the iron fist of a capitalistic society. Except, again, like Animal Crossing, slowly climbing your way up the ladder in this world is not nearly as bleak or as painful as it is in real life because this game is just too darn cute. Like the name of the game, as well as its art style would suggest, Merchant 64 takes inspiration from the colorful library of games from the Nintendo 64. But whereas games like Quest 64 had no economy whatsoever, Merchant 64 is all economy. You're playing as this little boy who has dreams of becoming a bona fide, legit merchant one day. And in order to do that, he has to go on an adventure and make his way to Merchant Town, where only the most esteemed merchants can be. In fact, there's a pretty high barrier to entry. Just to enter this town, you need to pay 6,000 gold pieces. But nothing is going to stop our little blue-haired protagonist. Armed with nothing but a letter from his grandfather, giving him some encouraging words, as well as 25 gold pieces to help him get started, you set out on your teeny tiny adventure. And teeny tiny it is. I would estimate that for most people, this game can be completed in about 2 or 3 hours. If you want to see all the endings, it might take you more like 4. For me personally, I spent 6 hours on this game because I actually played it all the way through twice. I wanted to get all of the achievements, but I realized I messed up something, and I'll share that later in the video so you don't make the same mistake as me. But essentially the gameplay loop of this game is that you go from town to town, buying low and selling high. There are 3 levels of the types of goods that you can obtain and barter with, each having a different range of prices, and the prices within the towns reset on a daily basis. So something that costs 3 gold pieces one day might cost 8 the next day, for example. So using the power of math, you can slowly climb your way up, sometimes taking 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. Initially it is a little bit of a slow grind, but eventually once you start to get into the flow of this thing, realizing how the systems work, realizing how to optimize things, it starts to feel more like an old school JRPG. However, instead of gaining experience and leveling up, you're gaining more gold. And then the gold that you earn can be used to get better gear so that you can earn more gold faster in the future, or you can hoard it like your Smaug from The Hobbit or something. Either way, if you play this game, you will make it to Merchant Town one day. Now, the game might sound pretty simple to you, and that's because it is. There isn't a lot of story here, while some of the NPCs do have some flavor text, and so there's like a little bit of world building, and you can kind of see them doing little activities out in the distance. Most of the NPCs are playing the exact same brutal capitalistic game that you are, trying to sell you goods or trying to buy goods off of you, and they might be ripping you off, they might be giving you a fair price, and sometimes they might buy stuff off of you for a better price than you could ever hope to obtain from the main market. And as I just mentioned, this is a brutal capitalistic world that you're living in, and you're just a little boy in the midst of all this chaos. Sometimes you've got to rest after all the hustle and bustle in town, wheeling and dealing, cashing checks and breaking necks, and so you've got to get some rest, right? Oftentimes, especially in the early parts of the game, you'll find yourself resting on the streets, but then of course you open yourself up to being stolen from. And it's here that you might experience that one step forward, two steps back that I was talking about earlier, where you lose a critical amount of gold or maybe some of the items that you've obtained. And that can be disheartening sometimes. But again, when you start getting ahead of the curve and you start learning how to play the game, it feels that much more rewarding, especially if you live through some of those nights where you have some big losses. But at the end of the day, that's really the meat and potatoes of this gameplay loop. I feel like if I was to explain any more, I might get into spoiler territory or just be telling you how to play and how to optimize this game, and I don't really think anybody wants that. So like I said, what you see here is what you get. Admittedly, I would like a little more depth to this game. I think it would be cool if we could have this world expanded upon. Maybe if there's a sequel one day, once you're actually in Merchant Town, you could add some more gameplay elements. I think that would be really cool. Or some more story beats, mini games, different things like that. It has a lot of potential. But for me personally, this game arrived to me at a great time. I've had a stressful couple of weeks, and this is a game that you can play with coffee in your hand. And I would play this in the quiet hours of the morning, often finding the most chill songs I could find in Dreamcast or Nintendo 64 playlists, and I really just found this thing to be a vibe. I had absolutely no problem playing through this game twice, and I don't usually go and get all achievements, but they're pretty easy in this game, so yeah, I think it's a good time. But now, really quick before I get to the information on the giveaway, I did just want to share, there are multiple endings in this game. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but if you want to experience all the endings, make sure that when you actually unlock Merchant Town, you actually go back and explore all the towns and places that you've been to before, because there might be a couple surprises there. I didn't do that and then stupidly ignored all the game's warnings, because it does a great job at warning you like, hey, you're at the end of this game, make sure you do everything you can. I ignored all that, went straight into Merchant Town, and then locked myself out of an ending, so just wanted to let you guys know that. But yeah, anyway, if this game looks like it could fit into your life, all that I ask is, of course, like and subscribe. It helps a lot on this channel. The algorithm has not been a fan of me lately, and I'm not really sure why. The second thing is just to confirm in the comments down below that you're interested in this game, so I make sure that I include you in my drawing. And the third, final, and most fun thing is to let me know what game you think is underrated. Exploring underrated games and underappreciated games is one of my favorite things to do. And so I just want to hear from you guys in case there's anything that I've missed. What's a game that you love that you feel like was overhated or is just perhaps not talked about enough, was maybe forgotten since it's from an earlier time? Any and all of those kinds of things. And if you have multiple suggestions, that's totally cool too. I just want to hear from you guys about this and hopefully find a new game that I can latch onto. So yeah, that's really it. After I get a decent amount of submissions, I'll use a random selection so it's fair for everyone, and I'll announce a winner shortly after this video launches, probably after the weekend. This game is available on Steam and itch.io, so I can get it to you on either platform, and I'll go over the details of how I'm going to get this game to you once I select a winner. Anyways, if you're still here, thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay humble.